Yeah.
Best way to stay healthy is by making sure you're putting the right things in your body, which is easier said than done when you're trying to figure out the right diet and supplements to take. Good news. Cardimax Immune Booster has you covered. Right now, American Party Podcast listeners get 30% off your next 4 orders. Use the promo code AMERICAN at cardimax.com. That's CARDOMAX.com, helping you achieve your max. Shut up.
I hate that dude. Like how? First off, it's kind of funny whenever I hear you read that because I don't know how you have any fucking. You got about as much credibility about what good shit goes in your body as Alec Baldwin does on gun safety.
How do you figure that? I eat pretty healthy. I mean, I do a lot of drugs and stuff.
I don't think dicks going in your body is really good.
Well, I mean, it's the only dick that goes in my body is when mine recoils inside of me, right? You know, yours doesn't do that? Retract inside of you like a eagle talon. That's how my dick works.
I don't.
No? All right, cool. Yeah, Ross is still sick, so we're going to steal their time slot today because, well, we're going to put this out on Friday, but why wait? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Dakota was dressed up all nice, and I wanted to be able to make fun of him live in front of other people. So
Why?
What do you mean, why?
What are you going to make fun of? There, look at this. Look at this fucking thing. There's nothing to fucking make fun of right here. You kidding me? Yeah, look at this. Try it. Exactly. Nothing.
You sound like Joe Dirt right now. Does this look queer? These look queer? Yeah, they do. Both of them. Let's get into some house cleaning right quick. I forgot this was here for a while.
What is that?
Mr. Sean sent a puzzle for you. It's actually for the two of us. I'm assuming it's super gay. Anytime a man gives another man a gift, to me, that's kind of gay.
You know, first off, Nick,
and by the way, gay's not I'm not insulting anyone when I say that. I'm just saying it's gay. Right? Are we post-gay now? Post-gay offense? You can call stuff gay that's gay, and that's just like you're just identifying something. You know what I mean? Like if Bob walks in with Sperry shoes on, which he does routinely, and I say, wow, you look super white today, that's just an observation. It's not necessarily an insult.
An accurate one.
Yeah, and it's certainly an accurate one.
So first off, Nick Grossman. I talk about puzzles every podcast. And usually, especially whenever we talk about ghost beds, because I always like to do puzzles on my ghost beds. Jaron, Dakota's looking a little chunky.
Somebody bring me a knife. You got a knife on you?
Do you hear these assholes on here? Dakota's looking.
Oh, never mind. I got it.
Dakota's looking a little chunky.
Like Campbell's chunky soup, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Come on. Let's see some more roast in here.
Yeah, you guys gonna talk some more shit?
Yeah, talk some more shit.
Seem like a bunch of pussies in
I love doing puzzles, though.
Well, this one is, this is very puzzling. I've never had, this tape is meant especially to rip whenever you pull it out, but it's not working properly.
That's that wet tape.
Yeah, it's supposed to work a lot differently than this. God damn it.
Chase, let's see what Chase has got to say. You can't address the chunky comment trying to get a rise out of you. Chase, I just love you guys.
All right.
I love seeing the shit you talk.
Oh, it's a still frame shot of go to the.
Oh, that's so cool.
Of when you proposed to me.
That.
Go to my single. Can you see it?
Hey, I wish. Can you zoom in right here? Like, do you catch a tear? Do you catch a tear of like, you see it right here? The tear of just.
No, you don't need to zoom in on anything.
It hit
Fuck
me in the
him.
feels. Do you see this? Look at this. See the tear? That's the tear of just it hit me in the feels. Thank you for doing that, Georgio. Thank you.
Well, now you really do look bad.
Oh.
Shit. So.
What? What do you mean? So I worked at 24 yesterday, bro.
This is me recoiling.
I was out doing the Lord's work.
There's no Lord. This is me recoiling in horror as you try to do whatever the fuck you tried to do.
Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it.
I mean, it's funny.
This was that moment. This is that moment.
By the way,
tried to fucking ask you to marry me.
The look on my face right there. I also like how on the front of it he added the. I don't know if that's actually part of the puzzle or not, but he added the exact timestamp from the video, so other people can go watch it and shit. That's pretty funny. But I think.
Oh, this is awesome.
If you look at my face in that's how I feel anytime anybody gives me any sort of compliment whatsoever. Like I just recoil. Like, what are you doing?
Dan, I think this was at the moment where you almost automatically said yes, but you had to think about it to say no.
No.
Dakota, can I recommend a Halloween costume to you?
Fuck yeah, I've been needing one.
This is the 1960s Batman villain, the Puzzler.
Oh, bro. Dude. What do you think, Dan?
That looks like a woman's coat. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Grow your hair out too.
So Dan.
Yes.
Here's if we got married, just entertain me here. So me and you got.
Who's fucking laughing over there? Is that Rob? He's like tittering. I can see his body shaking.
So hear me out. If we got married, we could. Like you wouldn't have to explain why we don't ever marry anybody else.
I don't have that issue. Like that's not a fucking problem for me. People don't routinely walk up to me and like, "Hey, how come you're not married?"
Name a problem you do have.
You and this conversation right now.
Okay.
So can we move on from this?
Does it make you feel uncomfortable because you're thinking about it?
You can't make me feel uncomfortable. Sorry.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
I think what for Halloween you should probably go as like a firefighter, right?
Yeah.
Pretend to be something that you're not. Speaking of firefighting, though, let's get into a serious topic, and that's that you're looking into this dude who I think a lot of people have seen on the interwebs now kicking the shit out of some guy on the ground.
Yeah, so check this out. So I want to read this article real quick for you.
It's pretty wild, man.
It's insane.
And it's not this guy's first rodeo when it comes to abusing people.
No, it's not. So I want to read this. So this is from the Dallas Morning News. So
is that a real newspaper?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, you could start like the Austin Morning News and cite it, and I wouldn't know if it was real or not.
Okay, so let me go to Newsmax.
No, it doesn't matter. Well, Newsmax is probably even less real than that.
So, this guy's a firefighter paramedic. His name is Brad. Hold on, this ain't it. Sorry.
Everybody named Brad.
Yeah,
that's a firefighter just got lynched because of you.
Hold on, no. So there's a whole. This is a second. This is a second one. Let's go back to the first one. So, okay, this is the NBC DFW. So, paramedic kicks this man multiple times. So, this is a firefighter paramedic. So first off, let me say this. I don't care if the guy deserved it. I don't give a fuck what he's done. Like, I have rolled up on scenes to where, like, underage girls have been raped. And, like, when... Obviously, you do whatever you have to do to restrain somebody. But, like, when police are on scene, that's not our job. At no point are we trained on detaining people, right?
No, I mean, honestly, if a dude was in process of raping a girl when I showed up, I'd probably beat him to death.
But my point
is that what happened here?
So, this dude set something on fire. Like, he was like, so here's what the news article says. Brad Cox, who works for Dallas Fire Rescue, made the headlines after camera showed him striking a homeless man. So this guy's a homeless man. The guy's name is Vess. Let's see, where's it at? That article sucks. Okay.
Wow.
So
really?
It didn't give any fucking details. Sorry, I wasn't ready for this. So they responded to a grass fire. So it's a fucking grass fire, right? So the camera the video footage I posted on my Facebook or Instagram was of the body cam. So that means that there are police on scene, and you could see 3 police were on scene.
What were the police doing watching this guy kick the shit out of somebody?
So I mean, look, the thing about Dallas is there's a big union up there. But anyways, as a firefighter paramedic, you don't kick. Like, this is not how you handle things, right? So he kicks kicks this dude in the head, and then starts punching him until the cops tase the guy.
Tase the homeless dude or tase the firefighter?
Yeah.
Why is so they're trying to apprehend this guy, and the firefighter decided to get involved in the apprehension?
Yeah.
And, I mean, to be honest, I feel like the police would have been well within their right to tase the firefighter and get him out of the way first, because he's just causing more problems.
The firefighter should for sure be in jail. So Mr. Vess, so he's a mentally disabled man.
And he started a fire how? With, like, striking matches and throw them into the grass? Or was he, like, smoking crack somewhere? What happened?
Bro, who knows it? But
I'm just curious. I try to work backwards from the incident and see what could have possibly happened in this dude's mind that would have made him think that it's okay to start wailing on this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
So the real thing to this is that there was one article that said, okay, so the same firefighter was investigated over a 2016 incident when paramedics were called to treat a homeless man with a head injury, but instead were accused of mocking him. So they mocked this dude, this homeless guy. Then the guy was taken to jail rather than to the hospital, and then later died of a slow brain bleed caused by his head injuries. They were Mr. Cox and another paramedic were not held criminally responsible for the death, but were indicted for falsifying a report to cover up his failure to render aid on the scene. I mean, this is insane. And
so do you think he's like one of those Charles Cullen types, the angel of death people that work in medicine or first response who try to kill people and get away with it and shit? Or is he just an asshole?
I think that he is an egotistical fucking prick that's never been held accountable. And I think that Brad Cox should have, first off, he should have his ass beat. Second off, the dude should be fired and should not be anywhere. Like, if you want to leave him with his fucking family, that's one thing. But, like, he should not. Imagine if that was imagine if that was your daughter or that was your son. You really want this guy responding? Do you really want this guy to show up? What if this guy had a diabetic issue?
Right.
You know what I mean? And this guy's fucking waylaying people. Like, there's no way that if a cop had done this, a cop would be, it'd be all over the news, a cop would be fucking fired.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this to opine, so I'm going to ask you some questions. What is it, what's the threshold for a firefighter to violate someone's constitutional rights? If you're a volunteer, you can technically violate them if you're acting on an order on behalf of the state. But if you're a paid employee of a city or state or the federal government, you can't violate somebody's rights.
So for us, first off, we're not there to detain anybody.
Sure.
Like as a firefighter, I'm not detaining anybody unless, you don't even have proof of this shit, right? The guy, is he a threat to the public? Is he hurting someone?
Like actively.
He
has to be actively hurting someone for you to detain him.
The only time that I have ever put my hands on somebody, which I have held somebody down, right, restrained them, is we had a woman in a car wreck who came out. She had excited delirium, and she was like going nuts and was in a risk of hurting herself running into oncoming traffic, right? So held her down there. But I'm not punching her. She kicked me. She spit in my face, all these other things. I'm not hurting her. And the other thing is, you see in this video that there's 4 or 5, there's at least 3 other people, firefighters on scene. So we all get together and help restrain this person. We're not standing back hey, you guys fucking duke it out. So not only should Brad Cox be fired, his entire crew should be fucking fired. The cops that were on scene should be fucking fired for allowing all of this to go on and getting rid of it. So there's no, as a firefighter, in no way, shape, or form are you ever told to detain somebody. Especially when cops are on scene. When cops are on scene, guess what we all do? We back up and, hey, it's on the cops.
Yeah, it's weird that the police didn't do so. I'd be interested to see how. I will be interested to see how this investigation goes, to see why the police.
Well, he's already been let off. Like the DA dropped the charges. He's back. He's working on duty with no issues. Nothing happened to this man.
Interesting. Well, look, Dallas has had a rough time of it with first responders. right?
Yeah.
Over the last, 10 years or so, with retaining them, was it the Dallas cop that stumbled the Arbery guy? She went into the wrong apartment and thought he was an intruder and shot him. Was that Dallas? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was it Amon Arbery? I think his name
Arbery is the last name.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? Like, the problem is
but there's probably, for a city the size of Dallas, there's probably like 10,000 uniformed officers up there, right?
I'll say this, right? And the reason I want to bring this up is we just had last week, we talked about people sitting around and watching somebody get raped. Mm-hmm. On this one, you see people stand back and watch somebody else, somebody who's paid by taxpayers.
Yeah. Well,
who is supposed to be rendering aid.
Yeah.
Kicking somebody they're supposed to be serving in the fucking head while everybody else stands around and lets it go on.
That's a chief complaint amongst most of the reasonable people I know who ask or protest or just want police reform is that whenever there's something like this happens, they close ranks and protect shitheads.
Yeah,
it's also the same issue that conservatives have with teachers' unions who close ranks and protect shitty teachers from being fired.
Well, it's the same thing with the firefighters union up there, right?
Right. So, I mean, this goes back to the point that we make all the time is that you are responsible for policing yourself first, and then those around you who are like you, think like you, look like you, et cetera, first before you go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then, don't come to me complaining that everybody hates police or hates fire or hates fucking BLM or hates whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're the one that allowed that shit to happen.
For sure. Yeah. Like, and policing your own, right? I mean, we call out people all the time, and it's like, I'm going to call out firefighters too. Like, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
This guy's wrong. There's no, and people are like, well, you don't know what happened before this. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I mean, but there's once the dude is if he's already on the ground, then if you want to try to, not that it's fire's job, but even in that situation, if he was actively trying to commit a felony in your presence, a violent felony in your presence, then you do have a duty, not as a firefighter, but as a citizen of the country, to stop and restrain that person. But if they're already on the ground, writhing around, kicking them repeatedly after that fact.
In the face?
Yeah, kicking him anywhere. It doesn't matter.
And this guy's an MMA fighter. Right, so Brad Cox is an MMA fighter. He's a purple belt jiu-jitsu, right? Whatever. So it's kind of like the fact this man still has a job. And I'll tell you this, I will not stop posting this. Actually, every presentation I have from now on, I'm going to start talking about culture, and I'm going to show that this is not what culture is and brotherhood is. And from now on, until this man is fucking fired, until his man is held accountable, I am going to send this video to the DA, to every fucking body.
Yeah, has it been published who the police officers on scene were that day?
No.
I mean, if the DA investigated, then there's witness statements.
Well, I mean, there's body cam.
So who's body cam? FOIA.
It's a cop.
FOIA. I got it. FOIA the body cam footage, and you will see whose body cam footage it was, because that officer has some questions to answer as well.
Yeah, literally, I've got the entire footage.
It's not the footage I'm really concerned about. I've seen that. What I'm concerned about is which officer's name is on the footage.
Well, I mean, either way, like, everybody who is on that has to do a report. So, like, there's a report for all of it. I mean, everybody who's on scene. It's insane. But, yeah, this guy's name is Brad Cox. He's with Dallas Fire and Rescue. And, accountability was not had.
No, clearly not. That's not what we're here to talk about today. We just wanted to get some house cleaning out of the way because we've been posting about this bullshit, and while we are ardent supporters of first responders, police, fire, everything like that, if we tell everybody else to police your own and blah, 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 and don't do it ourselves, then that kind of makes us a bunch of cunts, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So we're not going to do that. Speaking of cunts.
Yes.
There's a huge election today. Terry McAuliffe is running for re-election of governor of Virginia, which is a purple state now. And a lot of people are billing this as a referendum on the Biden administration, right? How happy, Biden's approval rating is below 50% now. And I wonder why McAuliffe had him show up in the first place, just to say a bunch of disjointed, random bullshit, then cough in his hands and fucking then shake hands with everybody. That was weird. It's like, why bring an unpopular person to try to help you in your popularity contest? It doesn't make sense. But anyways, Terry McAuliffe is a giant piece of shit in the first place.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about why he's a piece of shit and some good examples of it. I need to send you this article, guys, so you can pull it up and show it to people on screen. Hold on just a sec. So Terry McAuliffe recently began using Google ads to promote articles for news organizations with headlines written by the campaign itself. Now, you've probably seen stuff like this before, where people, even on Instagram, you'll see an ad on Instagram, and it's just like a clip of Joe Rogan talking about somebody's product because they sent it to him and he liked it and he's talking about it, and they use that for an advertisement. That's not uncommon.
Yeah, no.
Right? What is uncommon is what McAuliffe is doing, which is capturing that. Hang on, I'm sending it to Drinking Bros. He captures those fucking news articles and then changes what they actually say in the headline and then reposts it as an advertisement to make it look like the news is writing favorable shit about him. So I just sent it to you. Let me know when you get that. So here we go. So you can see right down there, Glenn Youngkin, who apparently is running against him. I don't know anything about this guy. He's probably a piece of shit too. But you can see these ads. Glenn Youngkin for governor, no more career politician. That's his ad, right? That's a normal ad that goes to his website. Now there's an ad that goes to Axios' website that's paid for by Terry for Virginia, which is Terry McAuliffe. So he's sending people to a fucking news article, but he changed the fucking headline, brother. So go down there and you can find the original. If you continue reading, you can find the original headlines. So these are headlines that used to exist. So the original article is the one at the bottom. Virginia, stop. Go back up. Leave it right where it was. So the original article says, Virginia governor's race features Taylor Swift, blah, blah, blah. And then it has a short blurb about whatever the fuck. And then you look at the ad that Terry McAuliffe's team has altered to make it look like a news article. And it says he's betrayed Taylor Swift. And then it has this prose about exactly how he's fucking betrayed Taylor Swift. Now, that's pretty rough, right? I mean, I understand that people do a lot of fucked up shit in politics, but this is one of the worst things I think I've seen when it comes to tricking people.
But I mean, I think it just shows you the level of I mean, if you think this is manipulation, what do you think the fucking big government's doing?
This is shit they're doing in broad fucking daylight, by the way.
I mean, this is like the manipulation of the system. You know, you think if you can do that on Google, what do you think they're doing on Facebook and everything else?
Yeah, where you don't necessarily have to even show anything that's true.
Yeah.
So the ads purchased by McAuliffe's campaign feature links to news and opinion articles from Axios, The Washington Post, etc., about his opponent Glenn Youngkin. By the way, it's not positive shit about himself. It's negative shit about the other guy.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. The ads show up at the top of all the search results as keywords such as Glenn Youngkin and include disclosure that they are advertisements, as well as additional tag required for political advertisements that indicate they're paid for by the McAuliffe campaign. But how many people do you know that actually take the time to read that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not me.
They just see the headline. He betrayed Taylor Swift. I mean, what the fuck does that even have to do with running for governor of Virginia? Are you kidding me? What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
So just for those of you that don't know, the way this works on Google is whenever you search for something, based on the algorithm, you will get certain search results, right? There's something called search engine optimization, which means you can use the right keywords and then link backs to the right websites, right? And inside that algorithm, if you do things the right way, your search results will appear first.
Yeah.
So if more people who search for this other dude's name, Glenn Youngkin, click on negative shit about him, then that negative shit will appear first in the Google search results, which means all Terry McAuliffe has to do is pay some click farm over in Indonesia or wherever it happens to be, but Indonesia is a hotspot for that stuff, to they write bots, right? Little scripts, little programs that search Glenn Youngkin and then automatically navigate to the article they're looking for that's negative and click on it.
And
thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times, over and over.
And you throw a little money in there.
Well, that's the second part. Once you get those things to show up first in the search results, then it costs you about 1/100th of a penny on average to serve that advertisement up to anybody that searches for his name, right? So you're talking about a very low cost for this stuff. And it is textbook fucking manipulation, information operation bullshit. This is exactly what the fuck the Trump campaign got accused of doing with Russia in 2016. Literally the exact same goddamn thing. And this guy's like a fucking liberal hero, apparently.
Yeah.
Terry fucking McAuliffe. He's a fucking cunt. So the man, getting pissed off. The titles for the articles have been changed, as you can see, from the original news headline written by publications, but appear in the same format as a headline, would appear in a search result, and it also links back to the same article on Axios or Washington Post. And they're not going to do anything about it because they're getting free traffic.
Well, for sure, they're getting money.
So now all they have to do is fucking keep writing negative shit with non-caustic headlines, and he will change it, pay for it, and then give them free shit.
And technically, Google is not there to verify if it's true or not. Google is there to. I mean, when you pay for ads, it's literally just. Literally.
Technically, you're right, but they do a lot of fact checking on the other side, right?
Well, 100%.
Especially this. We're on YouTube right now. They're a bunch of fucking cunts too. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So.
He didn't mean that, YouTube.
I did mean it. Bring that article back up and put it in the same spot you had it before.
That's what I usually do with you.
Thank you. And the Axios article titled Virginia Governor's Race Features Taylor Swift appears in a search results with the headline changed to Glenn Youngkin Betrayed Taylor Swift. Now, the ad regarding Taylor Swift promoting Axios coverage of McCall's advertising campaign tying Youngkin, a former CEO of the Carlyle Group, to the sale of Taylor Swift's masters in 2019, a business deal that was financially backed by the investment firm. So something that he had nothing to do with personally. The investment firm that he used to be the CEO of, one of the things they did was work on the deal to sell Taylor Swift's masters. This shit happens all the time. And it always happens with, we've talked about this on the show before about getting licensing rights to songs and how difficult it is because 15 different fucking people own a piece of that right.
Yeah.
So he might be 1/15th responsible for this.
Yeah.
And they're trying to link it back because Taylor Swift is a popular musician that he fucked her over, because those are two keywords that are easy to search for. So now when people search for Glenn Youngkin or Taylor Swift, they're going to come across this.
For sure. You know what I mean? Hey, it's fucked up, but it's pretty smart.
It's very smart. And it's exactly what Sussman, who's back in court today, by the way, was doing on behalf of the Hillary Clinton campaign. Because all of these people are pieces of shit.
You know what I think's fucked up is what happened to Afghanistan?
Zuby. Remember that rapper who pretended to identify as female for a day and broke all the fucking weightlifting records? We've had him on our show. He goes on a lot of shows. He tweeted the other day about how long did we spend talking about Afghanistan and how long have we spent talking about some of these other things, right?
100%.
Like how long have we spent talking about Alec Baldwin and how long is that going to go on versus Afghanistan where 13 U.S. service members died?
Yeah.
So another altered headline from Axios reads, Glenn Youngkin, just like Donald Trump, which is not the headline. The actual headline was Glenn Youngkin's play Forever and Never Trumpers, which was he just talked about, or in the article, it talks about how they do some of the same stuff, right? Or they operate within some of the same audiences. Yeah, of course they fucking do, because they're both Republicans. Well, I mean, Trump's not a Republican necessarily, but he runs as one. So obviously that's going to be the case. Google's political advertising transparency report, which is fucking laughable because of how much they've manipulated shit over the last 4 years.
For sure.
It allows people to view who purchased an ad, how much they spent, how many impressions the ad received, where it was targeted to reach. It shows that since September 16th, McAuliffe purchased 12 ads to promote articles from the Axios and the Washington Post. The changes in formatting of these new ads has raised concerns for some political and media experts who said the ads could appear as though the news organizations were writing altered headlines or the candidate was paying for the coverage. Now, why isn't Axios or the Washington Post complaining about this in public?
Bro, at the end of the day, though, well, because at the end of the day, this comes back to all this shit we've talked about with, I mean, we've hit on social media, with the internet, everything. You know, our lawmakers, you talk about something that is one of the biggest threats to our democracy is fucking Google, Facebook, Instagram.
Well, it's not those things intrinsically. It's when those companies decided, one, to allow their platforms to be used to manipulate people, and then two, to start taking part in the manipulation.
There's no laws fucking keeping them from not doing it.
Right. And maybe there shouldn't be, right? Like, so think about it this way. If there are a lot of bad actors out there who with guns can do a lot of bad shit, but I am in no way willing to allow the government to adjudicate who should and shouldn't have a gun. And in the same way, I'm not willing to allow the government to adjudicate who should and shouldn't have a voice in public.
It's already there. It's the First Amendment.
There's no unringing that bell. Yeah.
It's the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, but what can you not fucking do?
Well, you can't alarm people. You can't cause panic and stuff, right?
And what is this shit?
But I think that's a high bar to set, to be honest. I think the solution to that is to...
Well, if you want to live in the greatest country on the face of the planet, you better fucking set the bar high.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, but the bar has to be set with people, not with the government. You know what I mean? Because that's how we govern. That's how we're supposed to govern here, is from the ground up.
Well, for sure.
Bottom up representation, like a representative republic is what we're supposed to be.
I mean, hell, we can't even keep people from being raped, much less, keep them from saying shit.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, the Nanny State has consequences.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the consequences are that people fucking lose interest in taking care of the shit around them.
We'll lose our shit if you don't wear a mask.
Yeah, it's community policing, right? Like it's the broken window theory.
Could you imagine if people came out, if people were as fucking ballsy about standing up for what's right, about like how people treat each other, about shit that goes on? You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine if people seeing somebody throw shit in their pocket in a fucking convenience store, shit like that? Could you, or a woman getting raped on a I mean, could you imagine if people stood up for shit that was wrong as much as they did when the mask mandate came out?
Yeah. I mean,
we wouldn't even need police.
No. Here's the thing. The convenience store you're talking about used to be owned by somebody they knew in their neighborhood. So if you owned a store, like if this was your store right now and I saw somebody trying to steal something from it, I'm going to stop them because I know you.
Yeah.
But I don't know fucking 7-Eleven. I don't know H-E-B, Howard Butts, or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know these people, right? And I'm not saying from my own perspective. I'm just saying, generally speaking, from people's perspective, these are large corporations and they can afford to lose it. And they're right. They can't afford to lose that. They write that breakage into their fucking bottom line, and there's no issue for them at that point. However, we all lose. When fucking good men do nothing, we all lose.
I mean, but everything is fucking habitual.
Yeah. Yeah, we've allowed ourselves to become very comfortable with allowing fucked up shit to happen right in front of our goddamn faces. Yeah. Honestly. Speaking of Ghostbed, ads. Ghostbed.com/Ricky Bros. It's the best bed in the world.
Got the best recoil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do puzzles on it. When you want to do a puzzle on a ghost bed, you just throw that thing up there. It's awesome. I'll be doing my puzzle. Dan will jump in the fucking bed. Doesn't even shake my puzzle one bit. They also have the cooling technology. They got the sheets. They got the badass mattress cover. They've got the cooling pillowcases. They're doing, 40% off right now on bundles?
Yeah, it's 40% off on the fucking bundles.
Yeah. And they support those that support us. They've been doing it since it was COVID, before it was COVID cool. Ghostbed, just an awesome fucking company. 20 years, 20-year warranty. They have a 101 night, no question ask. Send the bed back if you don't like it. Just really badass. I mean, Ghostbed is a huge supporter.
Yeah. There's some other stuff going on too now. So we got an email, or not an email rather. We got a review the other day, and it really made me think. The memory foam topper that's out now.
Oh yeah.
A couple wrote a review that they had just purchased it, and they're like, we didn't know if we really wanted, because it's a big investment. We didn't know if we wanted to get the bed yet. So we bought the topper to see what that quality was, and we slept on it for a couple of nights, and now we're buying a bed because the topper was so goddamn good. Like, how good's the bed going to be? And that's not a bad idea. If you're on the fence about the bed, I mean, you know we've talked about it. You also know that we don't advertise shitty products, but there's knowing and there's knowing, right? There's knowing, and then there's kinesthetic, tactile, putting your hands on something and feeling the quality of it. And if you want to do that, then buy one of these fucking toppers, man. They're fucking dope as shit.
Yeah. I mean, listen. 20-year warranty should tell you everything you need to know.
Yep. All right. That's the only ad we're doing today. We got shit to talk about. So some people are defending this tactic, saying the campaign is just using digital tools to lead viewers to independent news articles that it believes backs up its position. If they were just advertising the article as it was, that would be fine. But they're not only just changing the headline of the article, they're also changing the fucking blurb at the top, right? What?
This strikes me as like a moral gray area, like non-Astros sign stealing, like sign stealing from Second.
Yeah, maybe it's to a lesser degree if they weren't using social media and advertising platforms who have been complicit in boxing out the other side.
I mean, let's go a little bit further. These are motherfuckers who are about, like, they're not a corporation who's competing for sales.
No, they're competing for the ability to govern. These are motherfuckers who are about to create laws
and govern this nation.
Like, a governor is one of the more powerful positions, if not the most powerful position you can have in the American government, right?
But on the backside of this is easily provable.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not fucking denying it.
So this should be this should be a huge piece for, you talk about integrity. Mm. How do you trust a motherfucker that can't even run a fucking true ad?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, come on, dude, this is ridiculous. That anybody would defend this shit is even more. So according to Mark Roselle, Dean of Scar School of Policy and Government at George Mason University, he says, independent media have a certain level of credibility that goes above and beyond paid media. It's a clever way to link advertising and traditional media in a way that enables the candidate to communicate their message. That's obviously somebody from George Mason University who had to be sued recently to allow a professor to stay on board using natural immunity. So if that tells you anything about them. And what do you expect from a fucking piece of shit who works in academics in America, in secondary education, who works in academics and government policy? That's a double piece of shit.
Well, hold on. First off, this is a fucked up statement anyways, because, okay, I agree that you should be clever and link advertising and traditional media, but what's the fucking message? Like, what message is, like, he's not getting his own message out. He's blatantly fucking lying. Like, I think it's 100% you should use, you should link advertise. I mean, you should use everything you can to get advertising out there to communicate your message. Mm-hmm. But this guy's not communicating a message. He's literally lying about the other candidate.
Yeah.
It's not like he's promoting his own message and ideas of what he wants to do. He's blatantly fucking manipulating the system and lying.
Well, if you thought they were above board, McAuliffe's campaign's not responded directly to any questions about this new method of political advertising. Instead, they released a written statement which read in part, Glenn Youngkin is running on prioritizing Donald Trump's conspiracy theories instead of Virginians, and our campaign is making sure we reach voters where they are at, which is bad writing, by the way. I don't know why you wouldn't need to add the word at the end. You finished a sentence at a preposition when you were already done speaking. So that means whoever wrote that statement, the press department in McAuliffe's campaign, is a fucking mongoloid in addition to being a liar. So That's not good. Anyways, Youngkin's campaign is yet to purchase any ads that link directly to any independent news outlets. According to Google's transparency report, while Youngkin has not purchased ads directly, his campaign has purchased plenty of Google ads, including a Google search ad linking to twofacedterry.com, which is a third-party website paid for by the campaign and displays a collection of attack ads and coverage from independent news sources with the original headlines intact, which is that may seem like a subtle difference to you, but reporting what's actually happening seems a little bit more honest to me than manipulating the fucking headline.
Well, I mean, and you know what? Like, this guy is definitely taking, one of the greatest things that Donald Trump did while he was running for president was all these names, that he gave people, right? Like Crooked Hillary, fucking Sleepy Joe. I mean, you can remember all of them, right? And this guy's doing the same thing, right? Two-Faced Terry, right? I mean, it's a pretty smart tactic.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. So experts agree this new technique is something they haven't seen before, and it's part of a larger ongoing conversation about how misinformation spreads online, especially during elections. So the entire story from the 2016 campaign, the reason that Democrats tried to impeach Trump for 4 straight years instead of doing anything to govern this country was because they thought he used collusion from Russia in the form of digital ads and misinformation to win. Now, this motherfucker in the biggest election that's going to happen this year is doing exactly that, and none of these news organizations says a word about it. Nobody's condemning him, and what's going to happen is the Republicans are going to use this same tactic in 2022 now.
And I bet you...
And this will be the new normal for political advertising, and we'll just be a little bit more fucked than we were yesterday.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
100%.
I don't know how long that'll be effective, though, because I feel like every millennial on Earth just glosses over the first 3 Google results because they know their ads.
Millennials do, yeah. But millennials also don't vote.
Well, we're the biggest voting bloc now.
Technically, among eligible voters, yeah.
Yeah, but percentage-wise and control-wise, not so much. It's still the boomer generation, which brings me onto the Facebook papers, basically.
Yeah.
And what they're doing to control everyone there. It's pretty interesting.
It is, yeah. It's a psychological operation to control the way people think. It's very bizarre. We'll get to that on Drinking Bros later, though. We'll talk about that a bit. The next thing, or the final thing we want to cover today, is this weird-ass town hall that Joe Biden did, where he stood there like Cornholio for an hour and a half. What the fuck was that bullshit? I know what it is. For those of you wondering, it's called vascular dementia, and he's got it. If you were not convinced before, standing with your fucking fist clenched like that is one of the critical signs of dementia. By the way.
Yeah.
Anyways, on Thursday evening, last week, Biden held a town hall in Baltimore, which was organized by CNN and hosted by Anderson Cooper, which I don't know if any of you watched it, but he had to repeat it. Cooper had to repeatedly fill in the blanks when Biden forgot shit, which is funny to me. I mean, why? You're a news guy. Why don't you just fucking keep quiet and see if he can remember it? Nobody helped Rick Perry out when he couldn't remember the 3 departments he wanted to get rid of.
Yeah.
During the event, Biden discussed China's aggression, abolishing the filibuster, gas prices, and shared details on negotiations to pass his multi-trillion-dollar social safety net bill, which is not going to pass, by the way. They're not getting any of this shit. This dude's completely incompetent. Anyways, during the event, Biden made a series of strange gestures and comments, none of which obviously were addressed or have been since by CNN. While being asked a question about whether or not he agreed with an economist's prediction that high inflation was likely to remain until 2022, Biden held his forearms out in front of him with his elbows at right angles and clenched his fists like he was riding a jetpack. I mean, he looked like a fucking G.I. Joe with the fucking kung fu grip.
Is this the one where he started yelling, too?
Well, he whispered and then yelled right after, I think. It's super bizarre. He looked like the great Cornholio or a G.I. Joe or riding a jetpack. But in reality, what's happening is vascular dementia. That's what's happening. Yeah. When he finally answered the question after grunting and looking like a weirdo for a minute, he stated he didn't think high inflation would last, but he did expect gas prices to stay high until 2022 and said, I don't see anything that's going on in the meantime that's going to significantly reduce gas prices. Maybe the fucking massive oil reserves we have in the United States where we could dilute the market and make OPEC's gas not worth as much. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know. But by the way, that opportunity was given to Cheney back in the day, too, and he said no because his buddies own all the fucking oil refineries.
Because what comes, like, even if they try to lower cost on, look, everything goes up when fucking gas is up. Shipping, all, like, everything, you start getting this surplus tax.
It's a trickle down, yeah. Like it's that cost always gets passed down to the consumer, and that's why we're being told, or one of the reasons rather, we're being told now that this is going to be the most expensive Thanksgiving in recent history, or ever. Actually, I think is what they said. What the Biden administration said on MSNBC. So, do you remember the summer where it was like, you're going to save 16 cents on your fucking 4th of July party? Like, oh, really? Sweet. Thanks, bro, for the 16 cents. And now we're going to have the most expensive Thanksgiving ever. Biden went on to say during the stupid-ass town hall, 55 million corporations, for example, in the United States of America, making over $40 billion, and they don't pay a cent, not a single red cent in tax. Are there really 55 million corporations, each of whom make $40 billion a year? Because that seems like a lot. There's only 340 million people in the country, so that means, like, what, a sixth of them own a $40 billion company?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this guy talking about? He said, don't pay a cent. He lowered his voice to a whisper then and made a circle with his index finger and thumb and held it up to his eye. Did you see that? Was it the OK symbol? Is he racist? Or is it the fucking skull and bones hand gesture, which some people have said? That's pretty weird, right?
Pretty weird, yeah.
It's like somebody doesn't know. You show up to a party and there's 4 or 5 people there, and everybody kind of doesn't like one person, and one person doesn't know that person doesn't know that. And like, hey, aren't you the guy that everybody hates? And he's like, what the fuck?
Show me how he said don't pay a cent.
He says the quiet part out loud all the time. Don't pay a cent. Like, what the fuck? Can you find that clip on Twitter or something, Bob? Because it's super weird, man. It wasn't the first time he's whispered for dramatic effect. Remember that shit in June on like 3 different occasions during press conferences at the White House when he finally started talking to the camera again. Look at it. Pull that picture up just of him with his fucking fist clenched because it's hilarious. Jesus fucking, what is he doing? It looks like he's a toddler taking a shit right now. Where they make eye contact and their face gets all red.
Dude, he's excited.
All right, get rid of that. I don't want CNN's logo up on my fucking screen too long.
Well, it might get us more.
There you go. Ready? Yeah, play it.
Now, here's the deal, though. You have 55 corporations, for example, in the United States of America, making over $40 billion. Don't pay a cent. Ooh, not a single little red cent.
All right, cut it.
Now,
so he said 55 corporations, not 55 million. I don't know where that came from, but that was weird as shit, right?
Hey, at the end of this, from now on, we're gonna say, "See you now."
Yeah, we should whisper at the end of this one. Yeah, isn't that so bizarre that he did that? And by the way, I'm told by people that know these things. I don't because I don't really follow the skull and bone shit. And by the way, Freemasonry existed way back in the day. Skull and Bones stole all their shit from Freemasonry, and so did the Mormons. If you read these books about all the secret Mormon handshakes at the temple and stuff, they just borrowed it all from
Freemasons are still around.
Yeah, they're all over the place. It's like a gentleman's club, but not like a gentleman's club in the way that Georgio would think. Georgio perked up when I said that. Gentleman's club as in like a Buffalo water club, not like, or water buffalo club, not like a fucking strip club.
And it's really, it's really good for the community.
Also, it was worth noting that Biden is
sometimes
Biden's got no pedigree. He went to UDel. He's a poor.
Yeah, he's a poor.
Yeah,
for sure. So it's probably just that he's a fucking old senile man.
Yeah,
to be honest, we are so keen on making up conspiracies or believing conspiracies these days, but sometimes people are just fucking stupid.
Dude, you talk about this. But here's the thing. He's almost 80 years old. Dude, my grandpa at 78, they act like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's fucking 78 years old. 78 fucking years old.
Yeah, he's there's got to be some kind of fucking age limit moving forward to keep
Nancy
these assholes out of
Pelosi
here.
is fucking 81 years old.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, she wasn't good when she was 60, so she's definitely not any good now.
But you get my point. Like, there's no conspiracy behind this. It's the motherfucker's 78 years old. I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, maybe they old people have like folksy wisdom and anecdotes that are cool. But I tell you what people don't do. They don't go to Thanksgiving dinner and ask their senile geriatric family members for advice on finances, for example. Like, hey, what'd you do with your money? I'd bury it in the ground, man. Hell yeah.
I mean, let me ask you this. What 78, I mean, what does a normal 78, 80-year-old person do with their life every day? Like, what is their daily routine? What are they worried about? They're not going, I mean, this man, you got to understand, at 78 years old, this motherfucker's flying around the world.
Yeah.
He's running, I mean.
And he's sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day, maybe.
I mean, he
should be sleeping 25 hours a day.
I mean, this dude, most people are back watching fucking Gunsmoke.
That's one more than there are.
Most people his age are back watching Gunsmoke. And
I like Gunsmoke. I don't know why you had to bring that into it.
I'm just saying that's what they're doing. And this guy is literally running around in the most demanding job in the free world.
Yeah.
Dan, how do you feel about Bonanza?
Hell yeah, I like Bonanza.
Bonanza's pretty good. I mean, what's his name? Michael whatever died of leukemia. That was sad, right? The dude from where he was an angel in one of his other TV shows. What was his name?
Touched by an Angel?
No. That was a woman. And what the fuck is his name? It's his first name is Michael, I think, right? Or no, maybe he played Michael the Angel. Hold on, let's see. This is turning into a Bonanza show.
Well, speaking of which, did you guys ever see the remake they tried to do?
Michael Landon.
That sucked.
Michael Landon was his name. And the other show he was on
was
called Highway to Heaven, motherfucker.
Dude.
And Little House on the Prairie. Jesus Christ, what a fucking
I'll
hero.
say this. I think we need to get rid of these three over here who are fucking, they
and get Michael Landon back, yeah.
No, all we got to do is look in our comments because right over here, they help us. I mean, our producers are in the fucking comments. Ask a question over there and let's see who can come up with the answer faster, them or them.
No, now they're actually ready for it. So
Yeah.
they're actually ready to do their jobs for the first time today.
I'm more concerned about Dan's demonic ritual in which he trades 3 of us for Michael Landon.
If I had that power, I would have been trading people a long time ago. None of you people would exist. Believe me, if I had that power. Anyways, back to Joe Biden being a piece of shit. He whispered, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it? By the way, he hasn't passed any of the progressive legislation he said he would. Let's see. During the recent town hall that we were talking about before, he spoke about his relationship with the late Colin Powell, claiming the two of them had raced Corvettes on a secret service track. He stated Colin Powell had a brand new Corvette. His family bought him. And I had a 67, 327, 350. I don't know what any of those numbers mean. It sounds like the cubic centimeters of engines. 327 and 350 are not the same. And then he said we raced. And then when he asked who won, he said, well, I won only because he was worried I was going to crash into him. Like those are the hard-hitting questions that CNN is asking this fucking senile turd who is responsible for the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and 1.7 million illegal immigrants into our country already this year. Anyways.
And we have another huge wave coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they want to fight, apparently, is what their leader said. So if they want to do that, that's cool with me.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
We'll fight from the fucking house for the first time.
Yeah.
Biden was asked later by an audience member about recent reports of China testing hypersonic missiles. He said the U.S. has the most powerful military in the history of the world, adding that his concern was whether or not China is going to engage in activities that will put them in a position where they may make a serious mistake, which is like the pussiest way of threatening somebody I've ever heard. And then Cooper asked Biden, this is one thing people have been too focused on. He asked him about Taiwan, and Biden said, yes, we have a commitment to do that. We do. It's called the Taiwan Accord or whatever the fuck, and we do have, or Taiwan Relations Act. We do have a commitment to protecting them in certain situations.
China's not attacking Taiwan.
No, it's just too, they got too much other shit going on right now. Yeah. While discussing supply chain issues, which is something I think a lot of us are feeling right now. Somebody asked him about it, and he said 40% of all products coming to the United States of America on the West Coast go through Los Angeles, and what am I doing here? He said that part out loud. What am I doing here? That reminds me of that old man Durst, where he was like, "What did you do? Killed them all, of course." Remember that shit? What's his name? Not Fred, because he's Robert Durst. Yeah, Fred's the guy with the red hat, right? Cooper stepped in and helped him. He's like, "Oh, Long Beach," and he goes, "Oh yeah, thanks." So maybe if the fucking president's Secretary of Transportation hadn't been on maternity leave for the last 2 months, he would know some of these fucking answers. Or paternity leave, whatever. God damn. So Biden had previously announced that the White House had reached an agreement with America's two largest ports, L.A. and Long Beach, to transition to a 24/7 schedule to address backup shipments. That probably would have been a good thing to do before all of this started, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't understand, like, why. I mean, the ports are making money. Why would they not want to be getting as much shit off ships as they can?
I have no idea.
Like that, I mean, it seems like that seems, out of all this that we talked about today, I mean, other than the fucked up ads, but isn't it pretty fucking shady? Like, why would you not, like, why would a port, if you've got, I mean, literally, you've got all these to unload, why would you not automatically go to a 24-hour shift? I mean, you know what I mean? Why do you need fucking Biden?
I don't know.
Unless,
I mean, it's just the absence of leadership, right?
Well, unless they're trying to hold it up to squeeze more money.
Or they're trying to use it to leverage, I mean, there's longshoremen's unions and stevedore unions have been getting hammered for a long time.
I wonder what they got with going to a 24-hour schedule. I wonder what was giving to them, or what break, or what it was that was given to them to go to a 24-hour schedule that they benefit off of either way.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, one of the things that's affected ports quite a bit, in my understanding, is that a lot of the ports are automated now, right? I don't know if that's or how that's affected things speed-wise, but I do know that it displaces a lot of workers. You know what I mean? It's creative destruction, though. It happens always. There's always this group of people who sit around and bitch about the fact that their industry doesn't exist anymore, and it's happened throughout history. It happened most frequently. When it's happened is wartime and the periods before there were standing armies. We know, like the United States has a standing army, a big one, but that wasn't always the case. As a matter of fact, before the 20th century, it wasn't the case. We have a standing army now because of World War I and World War II. The 82nd Airborne didn't exist before that shit. We created it for this. We created the 101st for this, and now they just exist for things. And it's called mission creep, right? If you have an army sitting around, you got to do something with them. If somebody's on the hook for paying for it, somebody's got to get something out of it. And it's the same thing with these weird-ass private prison contracts where state governments and the federal government have contracts with prisons that are owned by corporations. And the state or the federal government are required to have a certain amount of people in those prisons at all time. Welcome to America, folks.
Welcome to America.
We'll see you in hell.
Hey, we'll see you